Hi, Spunky Spunk here. Today I'm going to be answering a few questions that I've seen have been asked on multiple different platforms referring to citrullinemia. One of the most talked about ones amongst parents of kids with urea cycle disorders is, has anyone dealt with aggressive behavior with their child with elevated ammonia levels? Well, I'm not a parent, but I did have it and I've heard multiple stories. I've heard that when my ammonia level would go up, I would get very irritated very quickly. I would become, as so many other people have said, hostile and even aggressive. And there's stories that when I would go into the emergency room, one of the times I think I punched like two nurses. Like I punched one on the way up and hit the other one on the way down. And I don't recall that at all. When the ammonia level goes up, there is a point where you can black out and not remember that behavior. And for me, when this question comes up, it is struggling to watch these questions come up because a lot of people with citrullinemia, from my understanding, more so just going off my experience, is that this aggressive behavior or this attitude isn't necessarily something that, is easily explained. It might be brushed off as, it's just a high ammonia level. Well, when my ammonia level would go up, I didn't see it as, they're trying to help me. It was from a totally different point of view, which I didn't understand it then, but now being almost 3 years post liver transplant and thinking about it from a different aspect without citrullinemia, it's quite confusing. Like, okay, for anybody, if someone's trying to hold you down and trying to, restrain you, you're going to do everything that you can to not be tied down if you don't know why you're being tied down. If your brain cannot understand why they want you to be tied down or restrained or held, they can sit there and try to reason with you, but if you're not understanding, that fight is always there. It's especially with, a lot of people, when they have traumatic things like that, it does trigger the fight, flight, or freeze mechanism that everybody has. And, as someone with citrullinemia, I can personally say that when you do get to a point where you've seen so many different doctors and so many different people come in and out, you have a harder time. Luckily for me, I was able to know my doctor, my dietitian. I knew those two people very well, that anytime I would go into the hospital or into the doctor's office, all I'd have to do is just listen. I tried to focus on doing this with a lot more things after I realized it, but I would go into the office, when I was well, and just try it, and just listen for the different walking patterns, for the different talking, and really try to listen for those people that I knew were trying to help me. And my dietitian, there's even stories about how different family members would come in. I was in a coma, and I could hear everything that was going on. Didn't know who was going doing what, but I would feel like, you know, little poking, and I'd hear them talking, but I was just upset. I was upset and frustrated and getting really annoyed. And my dietitian came in and she was talking, and it was like, I knew that she was there. And she did. As I've been told, is that I smiled. I was not giving too much response to anybody else other than like making angry faces, but with her I actually smiled, which that was really relieving, because you know, when someone's in a coma, you don't know what's going on. You can't really talk to them, so it's very hard. And I think that was just something that, you know, gave everybody a relief, knowing that was how it was. Now, there is different things that can cause different emotions, different reactions. And with citrullinemia, I think, personally for me, regulating the emotions. I've read that this is also with other people with citrullinemia, but I'm not sure. Is that you have a harder time regulating emotions, being able to identify which emotions are how you actually feel and being able to express them. That is something that I did struggle with for a very, very long time. And I am working on it now. I hope that I'm doing this question justice, but it's little things like with the not being able to regulate your emotions, taking everything literally, like it's not a joke. Like sarcasm, I didn't get sarcasm when I had citrullinemia. I didn't. Everything that people would say, I would take it literally. Everything that, you know, if somebody would put on a song, put on a movie, it was like, there was always that thought of like, okay, why do they want me to see this? Why do they want me to read this? Why do they want me to listen to this? What's behind it? I'm not sure if that's common with citrullinemia. I don't know. But I think that that's also something that has come up with citrullinemia. For me, anyway. I don't know what it's like with other people. I don't know many people with citrullinemia who have had, like, as much success physically, mentally, like, that I have. I had my IQ tested, and I have 100 IQ, which all of my life, I was pretty convinced that I was borderline of being retarded, and that was really shocking to hear that I had a normal IQ. It was really shocking, and it was very motivating for me, and I think that really made me understand a lot. After getting my IQ, that just was a big eye-opener, huge, which made me think more about the question about aggressive behavior and bad attitudes and stuff like that. From, I don't know, since the transplant, things have been different. They really have. I mean, I have a lot more understanding now. A lot more. My thinking is clear. Like, it's no more, oh, did I really do this? Did I forget something? It's a lot less of that. And I know when I say something that I'm actually saying it. I don't question, was that just a thought? did I say that. It's more confidence. Well, I'll leave it there for now. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, and you'll hear the next video. Stay tuned.